Also, let me tell you something. This is my 6-hour special, and I'm very, very grateful that I have this opportunity. Yeah. I tell people a lot, and it's true, that I really didn't think this was in the cards for me. I didn't think about this ever when I started out in entertainment. I really thought the highlight of my career was many, many years ago when I booked the international campaign to be the spokesman for Subway. Now, that's a real thing. That really happened to me. It took 10 auditions. And when I got the call that I had booked this job, I had the same thought that many of you are probably having right now, which is, what about Jared, Jared, the now former spokesman, was really prominent in advertising at this time. So when I got the call that I was the new spokesman, I asked them, I was like, wait, am I replacing Jared? And they were like, fuck no. See, if you don't know this man's story, he used to weigh 500 pounds. And he would go to his local Subway, and he would order a 6-inch turkey sub, and he'd go on long walks. And over the course of several years, he lost nearly 300 pounds. Well, Subway did a one-time commercial that was so successful, they named him the permanent spokesman. But the problem was... they could only use Jared to promote their healthy subs. And they needed someone that looked like they could shit standing up, right? That's where your boy came in. So I was like, wait a minute, Jared's gonna say, eat the turkey sub and eat the veggie sub. What am I gonna say? And they're like, you're gonna say, don't forget we have a meatball sub, too. I was like, okay, I can do that. But my next question was more relevant. I was like, wait, Jared plays himself. He's Jared. Am I playing Tom, the comedian, in these commercials? And they're like, no. Jared will remain Jared. You, Tom, are gonna play his derelict brother who's a mess and eats like a fucking raccoon. I was like, okay, I can do that. I go, so I'm a character. And they go, yes, you're a character. I go, great, what's my name? And they go, Jerome. I took a beat, and I go, that's a black guy's name. And I'll never forget, the chief marketing officer of Subway looked me dead in my face, and he goes, anybody can be named Jerome. I go, yeah, anybody can be named Tanner. It's a fucking white guy's name, isn't it? So he goes, we'll take your concerns back to the board. 2 weeks later, I am in New York City, and I'm doing a wardrobe fitting to start shooting the commercials. This guy walks into my dressing room, and he goes, hey, everybody agreed with your name issue. And I go, no shit. What's the new name? Jeff? Jason? He goes, Jermaine. I go, that is way blacker. Am I wearing gold fronts in these commercials? He goes, it's settled, I don't want to talk about it. I go, okay. And then we shot commercials, you guys. We shot a bunch of commercials. And then we went on hiatus, and we were gonna shoot 6 more commercials to launch this massive campaign. Well, the marketing guy resigned, a new guy came in, and he killed the ads. So I got the call. They go, it's over. These are never gonna air. You don't get the contract. This is not happening. And I got so depressed. I was like, this was my big shot. It slipped through my fingers. I'm never gonna have another opportunity like this again. I just couldn't see the light. And then, about 10 years went by. And one day, I turned on the television, and our old buddy Jared was on TV too, only it wasn't a Subway commercial. It was the evening news. And they were reporting that Jared was being sentenced to 19 years in prison for child pornography. And I dropped to my knees. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for taking that away when you did. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. I will never do it again. Because if that campaign had aired, it would have been 10 years of us doing commercials together, being on billboards together, doing public appearances together. And the day that awful news dropped about him, all of you would have seen me on the street and been like, hey, Jermaine! I'd be like, what? I'm Tom. And you go, shut up, you black piece of shit. What? And you go, you fucking knew. You fucking knew. And I go, I don't know anything. I don't know what to say, man. Eat fresh. I'm sorry. So I'm glad this worked out. This is way more fun. So thank you for being here. And yeah. I do still have his phone number, if you're wondering. I did try sending him a link one time to adult porn, because I thought he wouldn't like it. But hey, did you know that in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, at the naval prison that houses some of the most dangerous men on earth, and also other people who have never done anything. Did you know? Look it up. Did you know that the guards there are specially trained? Now, I know this because I went there. I went to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, to do shows for fucking us. Yeah, for the troops. They weren't like, here's the 9/11 planners, why don't you give them a giggle? That'd be insane if they were like, get in there and you make Khalil Sheikh Mohammed laugh. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, ha ha ha, he's a funny guy. So when you go to Gitmo, you don't just buy a ticket, right? You fly to Florida and a military plane picks you up and they take you to the base, and you're greeted by high-ranking naval officers, and they're pretty formal. They go, thank you for coming, we're all excited for your show, we're gonna put you in the special housing unit, let us know if you need anything. And you go, thanks very much. And then they pass you off to some Marines who are a little different. And then, first thing these guys said to me, they go, you wanna see some shit? I go, yeah, fuck yeah, of course, yes. So these guys put me in a Jeep, and they took me to a hilltop. And right away, they're like, you shouldn't be up here, man. This is classified. I go, you just fucking drove me here. And they're like, all right, good point. And they point to this white building in the distance. They go, that's level 4. That's what you see on the news. I go, wow. And then they tell me this fascinating insight. They tell me that the guards there are specially trained. So I assume they're talking about Navy SEALs. They go, no. They're trained for their demeanor, how they carry themselves. I said, what do you mean? They said, well, the prisoners often protest their imprisonment by throwing their feces and their urine in the guards' faces. And the guards are not allowed to retaliate. They're only allowed to say 2 things back to the prisoner when that happens. They're allowed to say, are you hungry? Or, are you thirsty? That's it. And if the guard... It's funny when you think about it. If the guard does retaliate, the guard can be court-martialed, meaning you can go to prison for retaliating against someone who threw shit and piss in your face. This is what it's like to be the father of a 6-year-old boy. My son... Yeah, that's called an A1 setup. That's why I'm a big-time comedian. Sure.